Hello guys, low frequency in trading. So this video, I'm going to be teaching a short video about a very familiar topic. Everybody should know when they're going to get into the forex trading market. And that topic for today is going to be peeps. I'm going to be talking about peeps as a topic today. And before we start, I just put a text anchor on the screen just so you can know what we want to talk about today. Just inside of it, I write a topic and I'll paste it there. Just paste it Okay, sorry for this. Just hold on. I want to really quickly do something on this. Sorry about this. I'm just gonna be saying it. I wrote it somewhere, but okay. Yeah, in my writings, I'll just read it out while you're in the screen. It says in forex trading, a peep short for price interest points is the smallest. Sorry, it says. All right, pips in my definition is basically the difference between where price is and where price is headed. So if we talk about pips, we're talking about where price was. So and where price is going. For instance, if we talk about pips, if this is about pips, well, like this is where the price is coming from, and this is where the price is. And so pips is basically the difference between where price is or where price is headed to next. Wait this out. So basically the difference between what a peeps mean is we're gonna say peep. So pips is the difference of where price is versus where price is going. So the difference. So this is how we calculate pips. If we use this we call it price range. So price range is equals, say, we said pips. This is the difference between where price was versus where the price is going. So if the price was here and the price ranged down to this point, how we determine this difference is the number underneath the calculated difference of where price was and now. So the number is what we call pips. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the video in a short word that pips is the difference between where price was and where price is. And so another topic I want to get you familiar with is the topic forex. I want to write it huge because this is what we're dealing with. This is the topic. This is what we are working on. Trading forex. So we need to understand the topic. Say, wanna get familiar with this topic. So what we wanna do is we so we're gonna go wanna underline this. So okay, if we just want to make it bold. This is what we want to do. Basically, we want it to be bold as possible. We want to bold on this. Bold on. So, what is forex? Now, forex is the difference between. Forex is basically the exchange of one currency to another currency. Let's say, for instance, this is US dollar. We're gonna write on inside of it. We're gonna take it back to 14. Say this is forex. This is what forex basically means, and that's what we're explaining here. So forex is basically USD. So if you wanted to change it, we're going to say we're gonna change it for use US dollar to buy. Um, let's use the arrow tool. The arrow tool is the best way to get this thing done. This is where we get how from. Yeah, this is it. US dollar compared to compared to euro. Yeah, just euro, basically just EU. Yes, this is you sell this. If you sell this, you basically would use it to buy. So let me just put that there again. Yeah. So you're gonna use it to buy this one. Buy Euro USD. Buy EU Euro. We are all familiar with the USD terminology. In Euro, we know what it is. So if we sold USD, we're gonna use it to buy Euro, and that is to say a transaction has been performed here. However, in the term of this volatility 25 index, this is a volatility index. This is a crypto asset of which we are using our little amount of money to purchase. Why is a broker important? A broker like Verif gives you access to doing, but of course, if you wanted to make this transaction, you're going to go into the bank. You're gonna go into the bank and then you tell them you wanted to like exchange this for this. You wanted to exchange this one for this one in the airport. Okay, airport. So at the airport, you're gonna use this. But over here, we're dealing with Derif. Derif tells us in their website we can use in Derif. Derif helps you perform all of this transaction. That is to say, Derif.com helps you perform all of this transaction. So instead of going to the airport to buy US dollar, with the euro or whatever your currency is. Of course, over here in Nigeria, we use naira. We could just say naira. Naira is what we use to purchase US dollar, and that is basically going to be done at the airport. In the airport is the most reliable place where people go and exchange their currency. That so in the airport, in the airport, you just go and then give them your naira, and then they give you dollars for it. That's the other place you can do all of this. However, when all of these transactions are taking place, there is something we call price change. Everybody knows what price change is. That is to say, Naira, as of 9 years ago, instant, Naira was ranging probably. Okay, so Naira was ranging. Naira was about 700 naira naira to USD. 700 naira was 700, and that was to the US dollar. So naira was 700 naira to USD. One one USD was 700 1 year ago. 1 year ago, naira was 700 naira. But now, so at forex, what we do here is basically one one year ago to one. So why we trade is because why is it always USD? So forex trading is basically US changing this because 1 year ago it was the 1 year we wrote before got changed. 1 year ago. So it rose today. It rose to 1,600 naira. One ago, it was 700 for one USD. But today it is one US. So let's say, but today, um, one so naira is 700 is 1,600. Naira 1600. How is this happening? Naira 1600. So $1. So this is basically the change, and this is like, so if imagine you were holding 700 naira 1 year ago, and the market rose from this. The market rose. This is the chart. All these are candlesticks, and what these candlesticks do is that they represent the market's volatility and its movement. So all of these candles tells us where the market was and where it is going. So the market, let's say Naira was 1 year ago. This is 1 hour chart, right? So 1 hour chart has something to tell us about the market, and 1 day chart has something to tell us. 1 year chart also has something to tell us about the market. So 1 year ago, let's say the market was 700 naira. Of course, this is just an explanation. So we're going to use the example of where price is now. Imagine 1 year ago, market was 2,820, and today it is 2008, which will represent this 1006 of today. Anybody who bought 700 naira worth of naira at the airport and held it up till today would have made a difference of 700 naira. Would have made a difference of 700. That is 1,600. So if we calculated 700 and we minus if we minus 700 from 1,600, we're gonna have 800 naira as our profit. And so that was if you bought $1 with 700 naira. And so imagine you got multiple multiple 700 naira worth of dollars. Let's say you bought 700 naira, you bought naira, you bought 700 naira times 10, you bought 700 naira times 10, you bought 700 naira times 10, let's just say multiplied by 10 by 10, you would have made $1 times 10. You would have profited, you would have profited $1 multiplied by 10 today. So you would have profited $1 multiplied by 10 today. That would have given you, let's say you bought $7 worth of 700 naira. I'm doing my calculation. You can also do your calculation in your houses. 700 naira times 10 was 7,000 naira. So, so we're gonna say 16k times 10. 16 1,600 times 10, 16,000 naira minus your investment, 7,000 naira. So you're gonna have a profit of 9,000 naira. So you're gonna have profited you have 16,000 naira, and minus your if you minus your investment minus investment of 7,000 naira, you would have profited you would have profited 9,000 naira. So if, this is basically the explanation of forex: buying when it was low, selling when it was high. And so this would have been your profits, 9,000 naira. If you bought 10 USD 1 year ago when it was 700 naira, and you held on to your 700 naira and you sold it for $1, you're going to be getting times 10 of what you invested. And so if we took it to Derek and the chart here, we're gonna say basically what a chart helps you do is that when you want to do this, instead of going into the bank, you just put it here and you carry out all of those transactions, carry out all of those trading instead of going into the banks and waiting for hours for you to be attended to. You do it here inside the chart. And this is vice versa. When we talk about sell, because the market is about buying and selling. So this is basically explained factor of if you bought 1 year ago, if you bought 1 year ago and today you made a profit of this calculated amount here, that's the profit you made after holding naira against dollar for that long. Made this anticipated amount of money. So this is how you profit from this. But then now you can see this is selling. So let us talk about sell as well. We're gonna put the topic up here so it's easier for us. So let's say if we wanted to sell, how do we make money from when the market is going this down? We're basically going to have bought it here. The terminology is if we bought here, bought buyer, the price was low. This was on the 9th, on the 8th of June. The market was, low. The market went from this point to this point. The market went from this point to this point. It was low. So we bought, and when we bought, we took our profits here. And of course, how we calculate our profit is the difference of pips. So imagine we got times one of this. From the terminology explained, we're gonna make times 72% of whatsoever we bought here. If it was times 10, we would have made times 72% times 10 of what was invested. So this is the difference. Remember, this is just the 1 hour time frame and life goes on. So when we sold it here, then we sold here. So we profited. So sold and profit. If we wanted to make money from here, we were going to sell if we wanted to make money from this because now I believe you understand the meaning of all of this. We call them candle. This here, you see, this is candle. We call it candlestick, and this drawing will tell you more about what this is. So, candle is how we actually express or understand the difference of where it is. It just shows us how the market and of a candle, as a candle, it has dimensions. When you talk about it a lot, a candle has open, where it opened at, yes, where it was high at, that is the highest point it got to. It has the lowest point it got to, it has a close. And all this you can see up here, this is trading view. You see the chart is charts.trading.deriv.com / deriv. That's where you can get this chart from. So this is the difference between where the price was. And when you see down here, you can just see the time where it was. This is on the 8th of June 2025 at 5 a.m. And this profit was made on the 9th of June. In the next video, I'll be teaching you the strategy you can use to trade so as to get in all of this thing we did here. So, how can we profit from selling since we profited from buying? We can profit from selling when we see the market is going to fall here. When we sold it, the market was at this level, right? It was very valued, and then you sold it, you profited, you already sold it, yeah. So you cannot buy if you bought here. Let me just clone this. If you bought here and the market continues to go down, you lost. When you buy, your anticipation is that it goes up. But over here, we saw the market was going to go down. We could just use the terminology of an iPhone. When you sell, you're basically kind of playing against or gambling against this event. It's like, you know, buying is a terminology, but selling, you go to the bank, you go to the airport again, and you wanted to predict that this market is going to fall in value. So because it was going to fall in value, you gave your money to the bank, and you gave your money to the airport, you gave your naira, and let's say you sold it. You sold one, you sold, yeah, 700 naira, right? Let's say 700 naira, so 700 naira, and 700 naira went down, right? You just gave out this money to the bank, and now it went down to, let's say, by 93%. That is like you have, it's back to 200 naira. Well, what I can say about selling is basically gambling, right? You don't want to play against that. But if you wanted to, because you know it was going to go down, you see it goes down, market rises in value, and it also falls in value. And when it goes down like this, it's going to be 500 naira in value this time around. You're gonna have this market, let's say 500 naira in value. So 500 naira in value, 500 naira in value. So this is now 500 naira value. Well, since you sold it and you bought it again, you made a profit of. Oh, sorry, let's say this is about. This is just 200 naira. Since it went 93%, you made a profit of 500 naira. You profited 500 naira since it went down. profited 500 naira. So you profited 500 naira because you saw it was going to go down and you sold it here, and then when it came down here, you bought it for 200 naira again. See how it works. If you buy it for 200 naira, you would have also want to wait again till it gets to 700 naira, and then you're gonna cash out your 500 naira once again. You're gonna cash out your 500 naira once again. And this is how this market basically works. So this is actually the terminology behind forex trading. I talked about peeps, and I explained forex. Yeah, I explained forex, and you see this tool over here is what we use to basically predict the market, and because the financial market involves risk, buying and selling of carrot area. If we bought here, chances are the market could lose. If it goes down like this, it is a loss, right? So if it goes up, profit. And so this tool is what we use in knowing exactly what the market is planning to do. So this tool is basically the difference, or actually how much you're willing to risk. You went to the airport and you told them you wanted to buy this, it rose in value, you got your profit. If you also had this, yeah, which if you sold it and then you bought it back again, you still will, and you go and you sold it, you would have had a profit of 200 naira. And it's a risk to buy a currency that would reduce in value. Holding on to currency as its risk. I mean, when you have a currency with you, there are possibilities that anything could happen. Right? Anything could happen. It could lose value very soon. It could gain value very soon. So if it's gaining value, you are at the edge of what you are doing. But if it loses value, that is the meaning of this red color. You see, represents it's devalued. And your currency gets devalued when it hits this red point. It gets devalued when it hits this red point, and it is very valued when you hit here. So this is profit for an explanation, and this is loss. And so if we sold, it's the same thing. We were risking something, and then we are going to gain all of this profit. And that is the meaning of the profit versus the loss you saw here. So I'll be ending this video very soon. But with all of this understanding, with all of this, the three things I measured on this course was um, a broker. Deriv.com is a broker. You should always know. Deriv.com is a broker, a place that stand in the place of the airport where you physically go to for monetary transaction. So Deriv is basically the man standing in between you and the currency you're trying to transact. So I explained broker. Deriv.com is a broker. So when you hear the terminology broker, when anybody says broker to you, you know they are talking about a place where you transact money. Right? A broker is a place where you transact money. I explained pips, the difference, and pips is defined as the difference between where price is versus where price is going. And I explained, what forex basically is. Transacting one currencies to another currencies. It could either be a transaction of selling versus buying. So and I explained to you how naira versus dollar How I exampled naira versus dollar and how it was profited. And so this is basically what we are teaching in this channel, forex trading explained in a video, and this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you for watching this channel. This is frequency in FX trading. I'm just going to write it here so you never forget it. Frequency in FX trading channel. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. I'll see you in my next video.